On behalf of Doesn't Make the Cut podcast, we send our condolences to Jeff Barnaby and his family. Jeff Barnaby was an incredible filmmaker from the Mi'kmaq Nation, director of Rhymes Young Ghouls and Blood Quantum. It is a sad loss. Our ancestors gained a beautiful spirit. He inspired many. This podcast review was recorded prior to Jeff's passing. To Indigenous
guys, Nick, Anthony, and Mike ride. They review movies and TV. They review it for you and me. Michael Ryan and Nick Anthony. They review movies and TV. Michael Ryan and Nick Anthony. They review Doesn't Make the Cut. Podcast doesn't make the cut. Podcast doesn't make the cut. Podcast doesn't make the cut. Podcast.
Hey, beautiful people, how's it going? Welcome to Doesn't Make the Cut podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Wright. I'm part of the Gitsan What's Out Nation.
Tim Kilt Hayeks at Gaba Hayeks, Nick Angeli from the Niskat, Simshan, Tlingit, Haida, Gitsan, Titsawit, Colville Nations. If you're new here, welcome. We're an Indigenous film, TV review podcast that you can only watch on YouTube, listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
From the film industry, I am writer, assistant director, sometimes PA, kind of a jack of all trades, except for actor, because that lens there looks like a black hole to me, and that shit freaks me out.
Shit. For me, I love acting. Acting, film director, screenwriter, and working on my production company, D'Angeli Productions.
If you feel that we are worthy and enjoy what we have to say, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and it helps us out a lot. So please, give us a like. We need it. We need your support. So it doesn't take much. Hit that bell icon. Jesus Christ. I'm feeling really sassy right now. So.
We'd like to acknowledge we're bringing this podcast to you on the traditional unceded Coast Salish territories of our Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations in Vancouver. We thank our Coast Salish relatives for allowing us to live, work, and podcast in their traditional territory.
And speaking of First Nations, today's episode is Blood Quantum. And we are coming back to back from Pinocchio to this, so it'll be nice to shake off that negativity to something truly awesome. And Blood Quantum. So, non-spoilers. What did you think?
Non-spoilers, this was a badass movie. I felt like you take the zombie concept, you bring it into reserve, and on top of that, having all the Indigenous people in this movie being immune to the zombie plague. I thought that was badass. It was innovative. It was original. And geez, man, I had an amazing time watching this movie. I've seen it multiple times since it's been released over, I believe back in 2020. And I have been loving it. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. And yeah, this was such a good movie, man. What about you? What are your thoughts on it?
I enjoyed it. I think it was a kind of a ballsy move on the creators' part, because I think everyone's kind of zombied out thanks to Walking Dead and all the remakes of Resident Evil. So I think there's a little bit of zombie fatigue going on. But that being said, it doesn't stop me from enjoying this movie. Overall, I did love it. Like, I had a really good time watching this movie. There's a great cast here. There's a lot of great themes, a lot of cool concepts here and there. There's the practical effects is superb. It's really fun. Of course, there's some issues there, but I'll probably save that part for spoilers, because I think that goes on along the spoiler territory there.
No worries, fair enough. It's the zombie aspect. I feel like it's really interesting on how things through zombies. I definitely agree with you on with like projects like The Walking Dead, shit, I stopped watching that, I think, after the 5th season.
Yeah, same here.
It's just, it went on way too long. And with that said, yeah, with the multiple movies of Resident Evil, there was a couple decent zombie series that I really enjoyed. Like on Netflix, there was like this one, Black Summer, and a couple other ones. But so when it's done well and keeps it tight, like this one, especially like when you flip a lot of the story. And I feel like this one did a really amazing job doing that. I know that's definitely one of the projects that I've always wanted to do, and I thought would be an amazing concept. Zombie apocalypse on the reserve. That's amazing. That's incredible. And yeah, just to take on this. This one was written and directed by Jeff Barnaby, who did the films like Rhymes of Young Ghouls. I think that this was done. Yeah, the cast in here was really good. You had Michael Grey Eyes, Ella Maya Tailfeathers, Kaiwa Gordon. It was just like everyone did a really amazing job in this. The production design was was awesome. Even the prosthetics of all the zombies. Yeah, I just thought this was a really amazing zombie flick. Especially since we're going into the Halloween season. Like, this is definitely one that you need to watch.
I do recommend this one. If you are a zombie fan, by all means, put this with 28 Days Later, Dawn of the Dead, and whatever other zombie movies you watch, because this one's a very competent movie. And despite it being an indie film, and in some parts you can tell it is an indie film, it really does do the job. It doesn't skimp out on the gore factor. That I'll say that much.
No, not at all.
It's always funny with these positive reviews. Like we say what we want to say and then we quickly move on. So
I think this is good for the non-spoiler, because I think non-spoilers don't have to be as long. We could expand more in the spoiler territory.
Okay, so I'm going to say yes, this does make the cut. I very much enjoyed this. I can't see myself watching this annually on spooky season, which September kind of is foreplay for Halloween.
True. You're absolutely right. I'm in full agreement. I feel like this definitely makes the cut, adds into there, and yeah, just a really overall strong zombie flick. And on top of that, a really strong Indigenous film to boot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's that is the non-spoiler section.
Yeah, so once again, you haven't seen it, go ahead and rent it wherever. I'm pretty sure it's on Crave.
Even you can buy it on iTunes too.
And buy it on iTunes. So yeah, support a good cause. And yeah, one and only warning, we're going to spoilers right now. So right off the bat, I think I'll say the one thing that truly has shocked and disturbed me, and I can't help but, all at the same time, I can't help but get a good chuckle in, because I was just in disbelief that they actually did show that. So Lysol's dick was bitten off. So
I knew you were gonna say that. Oh man, dude, that was
when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's his penis." So,
dude, that was fucking crazy.
Well, no wonder he's mad. No wonder he's taking on the rest of the camp, because he's dickless now. So
he's dickless and can't even turn into a zombie. What a pain!
Jesus,
what a pain! Oh man, but that being said, though, that was the horrifying thing about all the natives in there that were immune to the virus. That when they died, and that was pretty freaky. Like Michael Grey Eyes' death scene. Like he was one of the main characters in this, and when he died off, like that was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's like Sean Ashton's death scene in season 2, where it was horrifying to look at, but I'm like, he's a hero. Why are we watching this? Like, it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, it's pretty awesome to see the practical effects going on there, because the intestines and everything else. Like, again, like they spared no expense in the practical effects, and it really does show.
And that's awesome too. Like, yeah, you're right. Considering that this was like a independent film. Like the amount of production design, the amount of visual effects, prosthetics, like just overall everything that went into this. And even too, I love the mixture of the animation, and that's a style that
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that was no, that's pretty interesting. Like it's a interesting aesthetic choice that they chose there. But
I love it.
I think it really is beautiful animation. So I wish I would have saw a little more of that.
Yeah, I love that because that's is a style that Jeff Barnaby does. Because he did the same thing in Ramsey on Ghouls. I love that. You know, that'd be really cool if he made like a whole film in that type of style. But yeah, I felt like they so much in this was so much fun. It was scary. Like had really strong performances. You know, what I really liked was the title itself because it was a great play on words that is
Hmm.
used for us indigenous people of a definition that was given through us through colonialism, identifying how much indigenous you are, how much of a nation you belong to by your blood quantum. I literally have one of my, especially down over in the States, I have my Colville ID card that literally shows um, the amount of blood quantum of
Hmm.
from the Colville Nation I am, and
Right.
that's why I really love the title in this because it takes a nice twist on the wordplay of what that title is on our people, and to have this based in a zombie movie where we're immune to it and everyone else who's non-indigenous becomes a zombie. I thought that was an amazing twist on things.
Yeah. No, it's there's a lot of good themes going on here, like between classism, like where the survivors and the res is calling people the townies and everything, and they do see the res as a sanctuary, and they are trying. And there's always like this huge debate whether they should bring in survivors or let them fend for themselves.
Yes, and with that, it just built this world through what we're able to see. Like I felt I was just fully into this world of, like we were able to see like when the plague is first, like it's like in the beginning half of the film, like you see the rise of how everything's happening, and then towards like in the middle half, you see like it jumps to like some time later and how everyone's been adapting to it.
Yeah, like it really does challenge a few of the zombie tropes because when Michael Grey's character, trailer was it? When he was bit, right there, I thought he was done. I thought that was it for him. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. And then it showed 6 months later, and then I saw him the next frame, like, oh, he's okay. He must be immune. So
Yeah, no, exactly. I thought so too. I thought he was, especially just the way they left it off, and I thought he was a goner in that moment until we fully learned on things. Yeah, I mean, there's so much of this cast. Like I'm just looking at this cast, and they did a really amazing job. Like they all walked out as badasses in the end, which was
they
which was
did.
awesome.
Yeah. Before I continue to gush about this movie, I'll say a few critiques, or maybe in my case, just a few parts where I was a little confused about. Some of the motives of some of the characters was a little odd to me. Like Lysol, I already got the idea that Lysol was a little unhinged, especially when he's under the influence, and so in this case, he's drunk. He got the entire camp killed, and then, but however, he had his followers. There was my man Gary Farmer, which when he asked in smoke signals, "What's the worst thing you ever done?" Well, now he can answer that. The worst thing he's ever done is help kill off an entire camp. So,
Yeah,
um, so his motive was a little strange to me. Like I always got the impression, like he was always indifferent of being in the situation. So when he started like help kill people, and just like, yeah, well, he didn't really give good reasons. Like he just wanted to do it.
yeah. That's I think that's definitely. I always feel like it is definitely a trope in a lot of zombie, and I think just post-apocalyptic movies to begin with is that you have your big catastrophic thing that's going on, and then there's the people that handle it. If you go about it and you're just all just trying to survive together, and then there's those people who are not handling the situation in the best way they can. When I think especially too, like, you're, even though they're zombies, you're still killing people, and so that could probably just like create like a certain mindset in you. What'll have you go into those different aspects, and especially too when it comes to like, there's no formal like with leadership, like when we live in like this type of world where there's like there people feel like just because there's no, like, let's say like in this one, like even though Trailer is like he's a tribal cop, there's no like official thing in there. So anyone who's like just doing things to just go by, they just feel like they can do whatever the hell they want. And so yeah, I get that on that part. And there were a couple times like, I was just like, damn, this guy's just an asshole. He's an asshole to be an asshole.
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that just when it just created like that just the downward spiral on all the survivors, like that was crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of chaos going on here. We actually saw someone chowing down on a baby. With
Oh yeah.
one of my other favorite scenes is I think it was Moon, Gary Farmer's character, when he shoved the chainsaw through the zombie and all that blood was just spilling on Michael Gray's character, and just like, well, now you're definitely infected. So just like, it's a brutally awesome scene.
Oh yeah, man. One of the scenes I love too is when the three of them, Trailer, Bumper, Bumper played by Brandon Oaks, and the guy with the samurai. I think it was Trailer's dad.
No, like I love that too. I love that concept, like a samurai Indian, like that's badass.
Yeah, like the scene where they see all these zombies and they're just like waiting by the door and having them come, almost like in like it just reminded me of like Call of Duty days where you're just taking on the hordes one at a time, just going at it with all your buds. Like, I thought that was really cool. But man, yeah, just any zombies, yeah, it was overall. I did enjoy things. The pacing in some parts I was a bit worried about as I was watching it, because at first I thought it was going by pretty quick, and then once I seen where the story was going, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I just found myself just really just absolutely love this movie, man.
No, I'm kind to believe that. Like some parts of the plot like was a little unclear. Like it was walking that dangerous line that Walking Dead went through, where like the story wasn't going anywhere. They're just trying to survive. And while that in itself is a good story, it's also not sustainable to keep your attention span either. Like, okay, they're just trying to survive. There's a lot of banter going on, and then shit goes down. Which in this case, Lysol and crew decided to say, "Fuck this place," because I lost my dick. So.
Well, yeah, and also too, as it comes into play of like the ego plays and the thinking like, no, we can run this shit in our own way, and that creates like those dynamics and those different pieces. But when it all goes to shit, like, jeez, it was crazy, and that's where I feel like it played into a lot of like family dynamics too. Which this was it just felt like it was able to take a thing that could speak on a lot of levels in a very creative way. If my memory is serving me correct, this was based off a short film.
Oh,
do you know if it was based off a short film? I remember seeing a short that came out years back under the same under I think a similar name, but the similar storyline of like being in a reserve and there's a zombie apocalypse. I could be totally wrong on this, but I remember seeing a short film very similar to this, and it just so happened to like I think it kind of like sparked things off. I could be totally wrong on that one. But I have a nice story to this though. When I found out about this movie, so a few years ago, before the movie was made, I went out for dinner because my dad he's really good buddies with Michael Greyeyes. And
Ooh, that's cool.
yeah, and so they worked together. Like Michael Greyeyes was able to get some artwork for my dad for some shows that he was doing.
Nice.
And yeah, and so he was in town, and so the fam and I went out for dinner with him, and that was super cool. It was my first time meeting Michael Greyeyes. That was super awesome. Such a sweet guy. He was like telling us about all these upcoming projects that he didn't give full detail, but he says like he got some projects up in the works. And I remember him talking about this movie. He said, yeah, there's a really cool concept movie that I'm working on. This like zombie movie that's taking place in the res. And he said the title was like, yeah, it's called Blood Quantum. And that got us into a really good conversation of, talking about that. And and then watching this movie, it made me just like remember that full dinner conversation. I was like, dang, that's so crazy. Like, he was just talking about this movie not too long ago. And then, watching it, I was like, damn, that's so badass. Like, such an amazing project. And yeah, that was just super cool. It was really, really awesome to meet him and whatnot, and hearing his stories was a really, really awesome time.
It is a fun zombie movie, and if you know exactly what you're getting into, you'll get what you want. A lot of gore, a lot of great acting, great practical effects. Some of the visual effects, not so much, like the fire and everything. Like, it just looks a little off, but because it's an indie film, I'm just going to give that a pass. So overall, this is an awesome movie.
Overall, an awesome movie, and of course, it makes the fucking cut.
It makes the cut. And yeah, once again, positive movies, they're usually a little shorter than the ones we like to bitch about. So, yes, I recommend it. I'm pretty sure you can get this on Crave. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Shudder.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you guys made it this far, give us a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
As you heard and seen, we do have a new intro along with some music by Zac Daniels and his band. We thank you so much, Zac, for helping us out with this. His link to his band is in the description down below. We really appreciate it. This is definitely a new era for Doesn't Make the Cut.